Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Texas Mortgage Boss Podcast. Today, we are going to discuss three top tips for veteran buyers in light of Veterans Day coming up next week. It's all about the veterans today. So I'm happy to interview a good friend of mine. Her name is Fumi, and she is with Keller Williams Realty. And we're going to talk about home buying tips for veterans today. Stay tuned. Hey, Fumi, how are you?
Hi, James. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I am excited to speak with you on this topic because this is a topic that both of us are very passionate about when it comes to veterans. It's been a very interesting year with sellers dealing with veterans. And so this is kind of what prompted us. And of course, we've got Veterans Day coming up next week. So we're going to discuss some tips and strategies for home buyer, specifically veterans that are looking to purchase homes. Some things that they can do to help themselves and possibly put themselves in a great position to get a home offer accepted. So before we do that, how are you today? How's everything going?
It's going great, thank you. It's been a little busy day, but yeah, it's going good, and I'm excited to jump on here and
Absolutely.
share a few tips to help our veterans out.
Yeah, so you and I spoke a little bit about this kind of off air, so to speak, about how veterans have actually been treated this year, which for me, being a veteran is very frustrating because there has been some sellers that have said they didn't want to sell to veterans and so forth because of the amendatory clause and the appraisal. Although that has happened with FHA buyers as well, but when it comes to veterans, everybody loves veterans until it
Yes.
comes to money in their pocket, apparently. And you've seen it from your side. But so our topic today is definitely, home buying tips for veterans. But I want to get into the actual VA loan portion of it first, and I explaining what the VA loan is for people that may not be aware of it, and a great benefit that veterans have. So let's just kind of talk a little bit about the VA loan because one thing I want to point out as well, a lot of realtors are still unaware of some of the things that are involved with VA loans, right? Um, and again,
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen this on your side dealing with sellers, selling agents, and so forth. But let's just kind of talk about the VA loan in general first and foremost before we get into the tips.
Yes. So thank you, everyone. My name is Fumi, and I'm with Keller Williams Premier here in Houston, Texas. Today, like you said, it's been a very rough year for our veterans, and it's kind of sad
Yeah.
because part of that is a lot of misinformation
Yes.
to the sellers and also just the general population and also agents. A lot of agents don't understand what VA loan is. It's scary for them, so they just want to avoid it.
Yeah.
And because of that, a lot of them just don't encourage their sellers to consider offers from our veterans.
Yeah.
This year, I did experience a lot of that, and it's taken me actually calling some agents to educate them. And it's just because there's a lot of misconceptions.
Yeah.
Either they assume that they don't have money because what is a VA loan? VA loan is the right that a lot of our as servicemen, our military people, and the veterans have earned
Yep.
to not have to come up with money for down payment
Right.
on their house.
Yep.
A lot of people don't have money. The hindrance, the biggest hindrance to home ownership is saving up enough money
Yep.
to be able to buy.
Correct.
And so government has made this easy for them. Now, does
Yeah.
that mean that they don't have money? No.
No.
But the
Absolutely not.
misconception is that they don't have this money.
Yeah.
And also a lot of them think their appraisals are always low,
Right.
or that it takes forever to close. And so today's more about just helping our veterans to be ready,
Yeah.
and hopefully we'll come across an educated seller and an educated realtor.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you're 1000% right about this education part, number one. because VA buyers are very strong. Listen, obviously you have to be a veteran to be able to get the loan, and the down payment portion of it is it's one of the biggest benefits. So yes, the fact that they do not have to come up with the down payment does not mean they don't have money. I have done a ton of VA loans. People have money, they just don't have to use it. It's just the benefit that we get as veterans. But they're super strong buyers, and the loan is great. So, there are some
Yeah.
misconceptions about some of the stuff that goes on with VA. Appraisals, obviously, is one of those things which
Yeah.
I can't really say it's a myth. Just to be real, VA appraisals sometimes will take a little bit longer than FHA or convention, right? We get that. Nothing that will delay calls or nothing like that. But I think the biggest reason why they've been getting, um, you know, sellers not wanting to deal, it's really the fact that if the appraisal came in low, that the buyer could walk away. But again, a lot of these buyers on the veterans, they have money, so but we're going to help clear up a lot of this today, and just understanding that, hey, VA buyers, just because they don't have a down payment does not mean they don't have money. Like I said, a lot of them do. They've got money. So I want to get into the tips that we've got for the veterans. There's a lot of things that we can get into. We're going to kind of go through maybe the top three or so tips for home buying veterans that are looking to get into the market, whether it be this year or the beginning part of 2022, which is right around the corner. So,
Yes.
so let's get into tip number one. What you got on the list for tip one for us?
So the very first one that comes to mind right now is that you need to make sure that you're underwritten. So whenever, first of all, well, before I even get to that, first of all, a lot of our veterans get their certificate of eligibility and all those DD 214, all their
Yep.
forms ready, but they want to stick with the big lenders, the
Yeah.
ones that were recommended to them before they were discharged.
Yes.
And so those people, those ones, because they have a lot of applicants,
Yeah.
tend to be slower.
Yes.
So I always encourage my veterans, always shop around. Make sure you shop with a local lender.
Yeah.
So sellers do, whenever a seller sees an offer and they see the big name, Navy, Federal, or
Yep.
any other one,
Mhm.
they think, this is trouble. But when you go with a local lender who understands the market, the terrain, what's going on, you're more competitive.
Yeah.
And also you want to shop around.
Yeah.
That's the one of the main things I see. Our veterans don't shop around; they just take whatever they're given.
Yep.
But it's such a wide range that you could get. You could go by almost a percent and a half difference
Yeah.
in your interest rate when you don't shop around.
Yeah.
And the way that the mortgage, the credit bureau is set up, it allows you to shop for at least three.
Yeah.
Without really impacting your credit. So I always encourage at least shop around, and don't just use any lender. Use a lender who understands VA loan, because a lot of lenders do not know. They say they offer VA loan, but they
Right.
don't know
That's
what
so
to do.
true.
And
Yeah.
one of the things that causes the delay for VA loan is they don't know that they're supposed to pull the COE, pull a lot of forms that the verification that they're supposed to do upfront. They don't know to do that. So while you're under contract, they start to do that.
Yes.
So you want to work with a lender who has done multiple VA loans. And also, you want to work with an agent who has done VA loans. I worked with veterans. That's the first one.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And no, you are right. Hey, just call me. Let's just cut. Hey, call me.
Yes,
You
right?
know,
Call
call me.
James.
Not only am I a veteran, like I love working with veterans. I've done a ton of VA loans, and personally, I've gotten VA loans like 8, 9 times at this point in my life. So, but you're right. I mean, yes, you can look around and can kind of compare. But you are 100% right with these big lenders. It's not always the best option. It really isn't. Sometimes communication is a little challenging with some of these bigger. And I'm not going to knock all these big lenders because there's a few of them that's specifically, military related. But Yeah, it definitely it matters who you're working with on the loan side. So everybody is not the same. Neither is every realtor, which is why I love that this is one of the things that you're passionate about is helping the veterans. So great tip there. So what's number two? What's number two on the list for today?
Well, the number two, it was kind of a segue to that. A great lender would know to underwrite you before you even go
Correct.
and make any offer.
Yeah.
So with the loan processing, there's pre-approval, and then you start the loan processing part, and then you go into underwriting, of course, while you're waiting for appraisal. So when you have a great lender who's already proactive,
Yep.
they would have pre-approved you, started the loan processing, moved you to underwriting phase,
Yep.
and all they're waiting for is the appraisal.
Yep.
So you can actually, when you make an offer to on a property to buy, we can easily say this buyer has been underwritten. All we're waiting for is the approval,
Yep.
appraisal, and we'll close quickly. And
Yep.
that's why you see some lenders are able to close a VA loan in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because they've done a bulk of the work upfront. So whenever you talk to a lender, ask if they could underwrite you so you can add that to your, tools when you're presenting your offer.
Yeah, and just on a side note here, you know, every lender will not do this. They will not do a full pre-approval, right? They don't. All of them don't do it. We do it. There are other lenders that do,
Yeah.
but it does make a difference when you're presenting an offer. I've talked about this. I don't know how many times over the last several months about being pre-approved versus pre-qualified. It just
Yeah.
puts you a little bit more ahead of the line, so to speak, when it comes to you presenting an offer and then obviously closing. So great tip, but yes, I always recommend get pre-approved, send your documentation, let us take your documents, run it through underwriting, so that way it's just a matter of you finding the property, and then it just kind of speeds everything up once you do go under contract. So that is awesome, great tip there, and I highly recommend it. Honestly, it just doesn't, and especially in this market, you kind of almost have to be honestly to compete. So great tip there. What we got number three here on the list for us today?
Well, maybe I have two, but this one is also still related to the contract
Yeah.
when writing, and I think maybe this would be more for the agent,
Mhm.
but a buyer can inform their agent as well.
Yep.
Where you're putting the 0% down, you can actually put money there,
Yes.
and then when you're ready to close, you remove that money. Because some sellers just see when you put 0% in the down payment section,
Right.
they see that as a risk. So that means you don't have anything. No matter how much you educate them, they just see zero and see poor. So with my contracts, the way I've gotten them in, I put money there. I put 5%. Not because you have to come down with 5%, but between me and the lender, we understand that we just need to win it. We just want to win the offer. As the contract moves on, we can write an amendment on the contract to put it back to 0% down. That does not affect the seller, but it gets our foot in the door when you put money down in the down payment section.
And just to piggyback on that, first of all, you can actually put money down, and I do have veterans that actually do put money down.
Yeah.
So let me be very careful. They don't have to, but
Yes.
I have a lot of veterans that actually want to. Okay, so
Yeah.
why would they do that? Well, two things. It affects their interest rate because they can get actually a little bit of a better interest rate. And even with rates being great with VA loans, typically, if they put down money, they actually get maybe even a better rate. So people may not really know this, but you might be able to get a better rate. So there are veterans that do put money down, although they don't have to. Okay,
Yeah.
it's still a great loan because there's no mortgage insurance, right? None, period. And so that is one of the other benefits of the VA loan. Not only do you not have to put down a down payment, you don't pay any mortgage insurance, which depending on the price, you could be talking a few $100s that you do not have to pay as a veteran. So the down payment, people do put down money, number one. And it kind of have an impact on their interest rate. The other thing is some veterans just want to pay the house off as quickly as they possibly can.
Yeah.
So you put down money, that's less your financing, right? So less financing means you're going to pay it off quicker. It's really that simple. And so this misconception that veterans don't have money is complete. It's a complete myth because that is not true.
A lot of them
So
actually have money, a
they do.
lot of money.
No question about
Uh,
it. Yeah.
yeah, speaking of putting money down, it also helps lower their funding fee when they
Yeah.
put more money down.
Yeah.
So funding, one of the biggest things, if you watched one of our top radio talk show radio hosts who's bastardized a VA loan,
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
not gonna call names out,
Don't give
but
anybody any
one
credit.
of the
Yes.
big things they talk about is the funding fee
Yeah.
for VA loans.
Yeah.
Now, if the funding fee is there to help the program continue in
Correct.
perpetuity, to
That's right.
fund it, the money has to come from somewhere.
Right.
So veterans are being required to put down 2.3%, I believe, or 2.4%
Hmm.
down. Now, if you 2.4% of the loan goes
For the
towards
fee.
funding fee.
Right. For the funding
Yeah,
fee. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if you put money
Yeah.
down, say 5%
Yeah.
down, it reduces
We do.
that drastically.
Yeah.
So for people who have the money,
Yep.
you can put it down. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. However, to even get through to the seller,
Yeah.
to be able to get our offer accepted, I always encourage, whether your intention is to put money down or not, let's
Hmm.
put something in that column, so in that section, so they know at least you have money to pay.
Yeah. So the funding fee, if you have 10% or more disability, by the way, just for people, you don't have to pay any funding
Yeah,
fee. Okay. So if you're 10% or more disabled, there's no funding fee at all. It's zero.
yeah,
But you're right. Putting down money, it affects a lot. Again, a lot of veterans don't do it, but I've got several veterans that do it. They put down money. They want to reduce the funding fee if they're paying it. They want to reduce the amount that they're financing and then possibly get a better interest rate. So it is not abnormal or unusual, should I say, for veterans to put down money because I have several people that do it. Some of my older veterans that I work with, they don't want to finance as much as
yeah,
they want to finance as little as possible, so they'll put money down.
yeah,
Again, you're still you are removing the fact that excuse me, removing the mortgage insurance, right? That's a big deal. For a $500,000 house, you're paying a lot for mortgage insurance, and so for veterans, you don't have to pay it. It's still the best loan out there. Period. I don't care
yeah,
what there's nothing to compare it to. It's the best loan out there, and we want to make sure that any veteran that is interested in purchasing a home, that they get educated in all the things that they are able to do, in ways that they are able to negotiate with these sellers, especially in this market. Which again, I'm glad you know how to work with veterans and how to navigate a seller in dealing with the seller. So again, that down payment portion of it, not a requirement, but it definitely does have an impact on your long-term finances if you decide to do it. So great advice. You got a bonus tip for me? Did you have a
yeah.
bonus?
It's actually part of what you were just saying.
Uh,
It's also make sure to let your lender know of your disabilities. If you have
yes.
any,
Yeah.
make sure to declare them, because it not only, like we just said,
Yeah.
affects your funding fee. It affects your the taxes you pay here
Absolutely.
in Texas.
Yep.
If you are 25% or 50 or 90 or 100,
Right.
that would have a big impact
Yeah.
on your funding fee, of course, and on the property tax that you pay.
Yep. Huge.
And that could mean a lot for how much you qualify for the value of house you could buy.
Huge. Yeah. So for veterans that are 100%, huge,
Yeah,
huge. Like we pay a lot of property taxes. Okay.
yeah,
If you are 100% disabled veteran, you do not pay property taxes. And or for on the lending side, like we don't even have to, as long as we can prove that before you close on the home that you've got 100%, like we don't even factor taxes in at all, which, like you said, for me, that allows you to qualify for way more house when you don't have to pay property taxes. So huge, huge benefits. So make sure that if you are a veteran, you are, yeah, definitely letting your lender know about that. As far as the certificate of eligibility, that COE, the DD 214, you have to give the lender the DD 214. But the COE, the certificate of eligibility, a lot of times I'll just get it for them. So trying to make
Yeah.
things as easy as I can for the veterans that I'm working with. So sometimes they don't have it, not a big deal. You don't have to
Yeah.
pay for it. You do have to have that DD 214. But aside from that, I try to make it as easy as I can when I'm working with veterans personally. So, but yes, great advice for me. I appreciate you. Um, and I appreciate your passion for this because you and I know, like I said, we talked about this, how everybody loves veterans
Yeah.
until it's time to negotiate with the veteran. And then you're like, you know what? How much money is that going to cost me?
Yeah.
They can walk away. No, I don't want to sell to you. Right.
Yeah. Put your
And
money
so,
where your mouth is.
yes, absolutely. And so, we've got Veterans Day coming up next week. There's going to be a ton of Veterans Day activity over the next 6 days. We wanted to start this off and just kind of go over some tips and really just honor the veterans as
Yeah.
well while we're educating them on this VA loan because a lot of veterans don't know, right? I know when I got out of the military, which has been several years at this point, they don't tell you about the VA loan. They don't educate the veterans as they're getting out. Okay, it's
Yeah.
probably gotten better, but there's still a lot of veterans that I talk to, they don't know. They don't
Yeah.
know how this works. They really don't. So it is up to people like you as a realtor and me to be able to get this information out. So I appreciate you doing this. So we're gonna do. I know next week there's going to be a lot of again a lot of things dedicated to veterans over this next six days or so. Veterans Day is on Thursday, so we'll continue to educate veterans. You and I are very much um, a advocate for veterans in every way possible. So, what's the best way for people to reach you for any veterans or any if you're not a veteran, for me can still help you by the way. But I know
Yeah.
you will help me. So, what's the best way for people to reach you?
Yeah, so you can reach me directly by phone. My phone number is 346-342-3494. I can also be contacted on Facebook. A lot of people, my veterans, reach out to
Yeah.
me on Facebook.
Yep.
My name is Fumi Ekundayo on Facebook. So F as in Frank, U, N as in Nancy, M-I, then Ekundayo, Ekundayo. That's my name on Facebook. On Instagram, also, I'm Fumi, Funmie underscore Houston underscore realtor.
Got it. Awesome. So, veterans, you got questions? Reach out to Fumi. You can always reach out to me as well. Um, Make sure you guys go subscribe, like, and share over on YouTube. Share, please share. Reach out to Fumi with any questions. And happy Veterans Day in advance, Fumi. I know we are a little ahead of the game,
Yeah.
but there's no wrong or right time. Excuse me. There's never a wrong time to honor a veteran. All right. And I'm not
Yes.
speaking for me. I am not speaking for myself.
Well, for you too.
I know, but I don't ever like to have people think that I'm like, yes, I am a veteran, but I'm about honoring everybody else, especially the ones that are still in, right? I'm no longer in. But I love honoring the ones that are in. And so, for us working in real estate, the VA loan is a huge benefit. And we want to make sure everybody is taking advantage of it if you're a veteran and that you have the right guidance, which for me, you are great with this. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. And thank you guys for watching. We're going to be continuing to honor veterans. As a matter of fact, next week on Thursday, I'm going to be buying tacos. I'm going to put this out there for all my veterans over by West Green. I'll have more information to come on that. But again, for me, I appreciate you. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for being passionate about veterans and being able to be an advocate for them as well. So I
Thank you.
appreciate you. But yeah, make sure you guys reach out to Fumi. And that's it for today, Fumi. Have a great day. I will talk to you soon, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take care.